my camera to aim too high? Little bit. That's alright. Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm Darkside Phil, and tonight is February 22nd, 2015, and this is the week in preview for the final week of February, right? And it's going to be a great week. In fact, when you compare this week to the rest of February, you actually kind of look at it and say, okay, this could actually be quite promising for multiple reasons. I'm really excited. Between vlogging, between new gameplay that's going to be happening, new game playthroughs that are going to be going on, hopefully some new reviews and montages. I'm really excited, and I hope that you are too. And at the very end of the video, I will talk a little bit about some stuff that's important, but for now, I say let's jump straight. I look so weird because it's a little bit pointed too high. But anyway, let's jump right into the week. Let's talk about what you can expect this week. First of all, I literally, about an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago, just released the review for the Order 1886. A lot of people have been waiting for this. It went live on the King of Hate vlogs, and it actually has the very first gameplay footage and video editing integrated into this review. It's the first time I've done this in 2 years, because I upgraded my PC, I upgraded my video editor, I put about 3+ hours of work into it. I hope you guys will check it out and let me know what you think, okay? So definitely check out that review. Right now I'm doing the week in preview. Did not do any new gameplay today because it was basically editing day. In fact, as soon as I finish recording this week in preview, I'm going to upload this and jump back into video editing as I begin work on the best and worst montage for the Order 1886, which I'll talk about in a moment because I'm hoping to get that out tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, after having the day away from streaming and gameplay, we return. My gameplay stream tomorrow will be The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. For those of you who've been waiting several days for that to continue, it will continue tomorrow on my main gameplay stream. Okay, I'm right before the entrance to the third dungeon, so it looks like I'll probably take on the third dungeon, and maybe even a little bit more. We'll have to see. Second stream tomorrow will not happen. That's Monday, because I am going to be finishing off the best and worst montage of the Order 1886. I feel like I really want to put a lot of work into it, and hopefully it'll be my best montage ever. We'll see. Definitely an interesting subject matter to be making a montage about, right? Okay, so then Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, we start with new games, and this is awesome because we've got multiple new releases, varied styles of gameplay, and I'm really excited. So what are the new games for this week? Let me explain. First of all, last Friday, which I didn't realize, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse was released for the Wii U. I want to play it. I loved the past 2 Kirby games that I played, Kirby's Epic Yarn, and then there was the one, I think, Return to Dreamland. It was the sequel to like one of the older Dreamland games. I love playing both of them, and I want to play this one. I forgot about it. And because I forgot about it, I didn't integrate it into my schedule until later in the week I realized it was out. I was like, oh shit, well I need to find a way to fit that in. So we are going to talk about that in a moment. I just want to let everyone know, I know that's the elephant in the room that I forgot. I'm going to get to that. This week's new releases releasing this Tuesday are Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Resident Evil Revelations 2 Episode 1. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Dragon Ball Xenoverse is a new Dragon Ball game where you're supposed to be able to create your own character, insert that character into the story lore of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, and basically relive the events of the real anime, but at the same time actually be a character in it. It seems like a very interesting premise to me, and I'm really excited to be checking out Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Of course, what sounds good versus what gets executed well, that could be an issue, and I hope that they execute well, but I'm very excited for that. The first Dragon Ball game I've played in a year, and let's face it, the one that I played last year, Battle of Z, wasn't exactly great, so hopefully this one's a lot better, and I hope you guys will check that out. And then you've got Resident Evil Revelations 2, which, again, I'm excited for. Why? I loved Resident Evil Revelations 1. I actually played it on my 3DS when it was brand new, beat it, and then later on, I think it was last year? Actually, it might have been 2 years ago now. I'm trying to remember. There was an HD re-release of it on consoles, and I played that, and I enjoyed that too. So, the sequel comes out this week. Now, the way they're doing it, supposedly, this is Capcom's first time doing anything like this, they're going to do weekly episodes. So, supposedly, Episode 1 is out on Tuesday, which would mean Episode 2 would be out the following Tuesday, and so on until all the episodes have been released. I think it's supposed to be 5. I'm not positive. I could be completely wrong, okay? But that's what I've heard. Now I'm excited because it's the return of Barry Burton after being one of the most prominent and most well-known, what would they call that? supporting character, supporting actor, right? Best supporting actor. It's Oscar night, and I got that in my head. The best supporting character in a video game in the 90s. He was one of the most well-known guys for being kind of like the sidekick in Resident Evil 1, and then he friggin' disappeared. He never came back to any Resident Evil game. People were like, where did he go? After that, he's just gone, written out of the story forever. He finally returns in Resident Evil Revelations 2. I'm very much looking forward to playing that game. Now, you might say, well, I wonder which one Phil's going to play on first and second stream because he has his 2 streams. It's going to be dependent on the length of Resident Evil Revelations 2. Let me explain. I'll be honest with you guys. I like Resident Evil. I think you guys know that. I've played almost every one of them over the years. With a few small exceptions of games that I might get to actually later this year during downtime, like Code Veronica X HD and stuff like that. But I really want to play Resident Evil Revelations 2. The problem is, I don't know how long the episodes are. If the episode 1 is 90 minutes, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to do it my second stream, because my second stream is about 2 hours long, and then the first stream will be dedicated to the beginning of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. If episode 1 is 3 hours long, well, then that makes sense. I'll do it on my first stream, right? Beat it, and then I'll do Dragon Ball Xenoverse on my second stream. But I don't know how long the episode is, and until anyone plays it, no one can answer that question. So once we find out, probably Monday night, we'll start to get reports from people who played it and said, oh, it's, it's this long. Then we'll decide. So it's either going to be Resident Evil Revelations 2 or Dragon Ball Xenoverse on first stream, and then the other game on second stream on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, well, duh, it's going to be the game that I didn't beat. That's going to be the first stream on Wednesday, and I probably will do a second stream of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, so that way there's not too much time between playing it and not, okay? Thursday, and this I need to call out. I have not mentioned this in a month. I need to start making mention of this every day now. Ask the King. Ask the King returns this coming Thursday. It's my first stream, okay? It's the last Ask the King we're going to do before my Patreon goes into effect. If you don't know what that means, there is a new perk available on my Patreon, which launched this past week, where if you donate a certain amount of money to me, or pledge a certain amount of money to me a month, whatever you want to call it, is a donation. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You get priority access to Ask the King, meaning that in future episodes of Ask the King, there will be people who will have an incredibly increased chance of having their questions answered, but it's going to be its own separate segment of Ask the King. People like you who maybe don't donate or don't have the capability of donating because, let's face it, not everyone has a lot of money, and that's cool. Even if you feel it's not worth a donation, I'm cool with that. You're still going to have the ability to submit your questions on the forums, Twitter, Facebook, just like you used to, and I'm still going to be answering tons of those questions. I just want you guys to understand that even though Ask the King is changing next month, it's not going to change the way that you submit your questions or the chance you have to have your questions submitted. And this month is staying the same. This month, it's all based off the forums, Twitter, and Facebook. So please, right now I have about 60 questions on thekingofhate.com. There's a thread there for it. I'll put a link to that thread in the description of this video. Please post up more questions. I say this every month. The more questions I get, the better the show will be. And only having 60 questions means I have a limited amount to draw from. The more, the better. Please submit more questions so that I can have a better episode of Ask the King this coming Thursday, which will be the first stream, okay? Second stream probably will be more Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday will probably be the continuation of Dragon Ball Xenoverse with Zelda. Now, you may have noticed something. I didn't mention Kirby anywhere in there. You're absolutely right. I didn't mention Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Because I don't want to take on another playthrough with 2 new games already this week and the continuation of Zelda. I don't want to take on another thing and promise you guys, oh, I'm going to do another new game, because that'd be ridiculous and that's not fair to you, especially with people who've been waiting for me to do playthroughs, or for example what happened in November and December when I was juggling like 5 games and you had to wait 3-4 days to see me play the game you wanted to see. I don't want that to happen. In addition, I made the pledge, and I've been sticking to it so far, right, that when I beat major games, I do not only reviews of them, but montages. And the fact that I'm doing video editing now, I'm editing in video footage to the reviews, I'm doing montages and stuff with Video Editor. It's a lot of time consumption, but I think it's turning out well. People are liking the product that's coming out of it. So I don't want to promise you, I'm going to start Kirby, and people are like, where's Kirby? Oh, well, I stopped to review this. And it's like, well, what the hell, Phil? What is taking you so long? So Kirby will begin after I finish this week's games, okay? Whichever comes first. I'm assuming since Resident Evil Revelations is just 1 episode, that's just going to be 1 day. Either Dragon Ball or Zelda. When one of those concludes, that's when Kirby will begin. Alright, everyone? The good news about all of this is that, number 1, the first 2 weeks of March have no new releases. Now, I could be wrong. There could have been an update in release schedule, but I haven't had a chance to check release dates recently. So, the way I'm looking at it, I'm looking at my calendar, and I see nothing. So I say, that's great. We can continue on with whatever playthroughs we didn't finish this week. Next week, you know, if it's Kirby or whatever, we'll get it in there. It'll give me plenty of time to review the games, plenty of time to do montages, etc. All right? So that's good news in one respect. The other good news is if my Patreon goes through the way it looks like right now, we're going to have a very busy March. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, okay, my Patreon officially launched this past Thursday, which means I set up perks and goals, all these levels for pledge amounts, okay? I had an overwhelmingly positive response. Like, over 80 people so far have contributed to my Patreon. Now, admittedly, a lot of the people are going for the higher perks because they're like, wow, I'd love to get a shirt from Phil or have a personalized video from Phil. And those are one-off things. And after this month, probably those people will lower their pledges or not pledge. So what I want to say to you guys is if you haven't taken a look yet, please take a look at my Patreon because this month looks like it's going to be great. And if it goes through as good at the levels that we've hit, I'm going to be doing 3 special events in March, including a weekly series where I play Minecraft for the first time, a weekly series where the patrons are going to vote on a playthrough for me to start, maybe a game that I've never played before and is out of my comfort zone. And at some point in March, we're going to have a special live streaming event for, I'm going to do an 8-hour mini marathon of indie games. So all that's coming in March as a direct result of my Patreon being so successful within one day hitting all of the goal levels that I had set up, which I never, ever suspected would happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. If you have been a contributor, if you're thinking of contributing, if there's some people out there who are like, well, I don't want to contribute yet, maybe I can contribute next month. Great, because like I said, next month, I guarantee you some of the people who are pledging now are going to lower their pledges or not pledge next month. And the deal with Patreon is it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing thing. And if I can get it to be successful every month, we can do special events and things every month. And I don't have to worry about, oh no, I'm not rushing to play this game or that game and I'm not getting views on my channel because Patreon is helping to supplement that, okay? So the deal is, since the first 2 weeks of March seem so empty, I'll have time to play and finish up games like Zelda, Dragon Ball, Kirby, and we'll have all these special events from Patreon. And I think that between all that stuff, juggling it all around, it's going to fill those first 2 weeks of March with an amazing amount of fun and new content, which is then going to prepare us for the second half of March. Oh boy, just to read a few of the games coming out, because you got Battlefield Hardline, Final Fantasy Typo HD, Mario Party 10, Bloodborne. I'm going to be visiting the Emerald City Comic Con, which is the comic convention right here in Seattle. I'm going to be doing walkthrough vlogs of the whole event, which is going to be pretty freaking sweet. And there may even be more. I believe there's 1 or 2 other games that may come out at the end of the month. So the month of March is going to be an incredible amount of fun with amount of stuff going on. And I want to say thank you again to Patreon contributors. Thank you for those who are considering. I would ask this, if you like what I've been doing, you like the fact that I'm now doing video content, or I'm sorry, gaming play content in my reviews. You like the fact that I'm doing these montages and I'm doing it outside of the box. The fact that I'm releasing the raw streams a week later and you can watch the unedited raw streams later on rather than just the 10 to 15 to 20 minute parts of a playthrough that I typically put up. All these changes I'm instituting this year, if you like it, please consider becoming a Patreon because that will allow me to keep doing it rather than worrying about, oh, but my general views went down because I changed up a little bit. I don't want to have to worry about that. I'm having so much fun. This week I was so charged with incredible amounts of positivity. I had my highest viewed stream ever this week on YouTube. Crazy amount of people who are just excited about me playing games and seeing my content, and that's what this is all about. You look how pumped and energetic and excited I am. You know what I mean? I want to keep this going. I don't want this to just die out after, because there was this initial wave and then it kind of dies out. Let's keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So, in summary, this week, we've got continuation of Zelda Majora's Mask, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and Resident Evil Revelations 2 Episode 1. Ask the King returns. You're going to see montages. You'll probably see reviews. Lots of great stuff coming up this week. I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow for new gameplay. Peace out.